and welcome to my channel. I'm Dorothea and this is my redstone world, and today I'm going to teach you how to build a really simple bee farm. Now the bee farm I'll teach you can be used for both honeycomb and for honey. You're going to need 5 either beehives or bee nests. In this case I'm just using these. We're going to place a chest here, and we're going to place droppers along here. That is their collection system, so that all our nice honey bottles or honeycomb ends up in this chest. Right behind the beehives, we're going to add some blocks. There's already blocks, that's fine. And then you're going to add comparators that detect what's happening in the beehive. The thing is that a beehive can store 5 honey or honeycomb at a time. Well, no, not honey or honeycomb. 5 honey or 3 honeycomb when they're full. And when they're full, they'll give a redstone signal of 5. So this comparator can read that. These are the first 2. Then we're going to add a little tick up, and it's pretty important that we use slabs here. As you can see, this redstone still connects to that below, but if I were to place a block here, you can see it disconnects. I'm going to temporarily place a block here, and then I'm going to add yet another layer that's also going to be slabs. We're also going to place redstone up here. And then we can just fill in with solid blocks. Here and here. Finish with the last row of redstone. A repeater that goes in here, in this direction, just at 1 tick. And lastly, we're going to add dispensers that face into our beehives or our bee nest. Now, if you want honeycomb, you'll add shears into the dispenser. And if you want honey bottles, you'll add glass bottles into the dispenser. Now, if there's a spot open, the dispenser won't always throw the bottle out, so it won't be collected. So it's really important that there's glass bottles in all of the spots. So you'll have to, when you craft your honey blocks, and then you go over and you refill. Now we need a spot for the bees to have access to flowers. So I'll just make a small patch out like so, that I'll fence in with glass so that we can see our little bees work. And then we're going to pick a flower. This can also be the azalea bushes, I believe. But it could be any flower type, really. Now, right now, there's no bees inside the hives. But that is pretty easy to fix. If you're on survival, you can either go looking for a beehive, or you can actually get one on your own. If you have a sapling and there's a flower within 2 blocks distance, either on the same axis or diagonal, then we have a 5% chance of getting a beehive. That means you technically only have to grow 20 trees in total, and then you should have at least one beehive. And then you can just breed the bees by feeding them flowers.
One eternity later.
Yes! There we go. Now you can see the bees immediately flew out. But if you wait until nighttime, they'll go back in. Or they'll go back in at some point, once they've, collected pollen. Now, obviously the bee nest will just break, if you mine it normally, and the bees will get angry. But if you pick it up with Silk Touch, all the bees will stay inside, and then you can just transfer them over into your bee farm. Or you can lure them with flowers. For the sake of this, because I'm just not gonna spend my time breeding them, I'm just gonna say, oops. I'm just going to fill it up. Alright, so now all the beehives should be full, and we can see that they're starting to produce honey, because the comparator is registering. So we'll sit by for a little while, and then I'll come back once we have some honeycomb or some honey bottles. Now, as you can see, this repeater went off, and that's because now there were a 5 strength signal that went into the repeater, and that meant the dispenser went off. So we'll have our first honey bottle. Now, it's not the most effective farm system, and you do have to automatically craft and automatically make sure that everything is stocked, but besides that, this is a really simple little farm. Oh, another one. I think that was a honey bottle too. Yeah. Oh, 2 might have triggered there. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, that was all for this Redstone tutorial. If you found it useful, remember to like and subscribe for much more Redstone. And check out some of my other videos, like my Wordle game or my Redstone Santa. I'll see you next time.